Hey, what's up guys, it's Simos, and I got some really exciting news for you guys today about the Xbox One's December update that I want to let you guys know about. So, this December update wasn't meant for the consumer, it was meant more for the developers that develop Xbox One games, obviously. And specifically, they updated the SDK, and if you guys don't know what an SDK is, it's a software development kit, which is, you can think of it as a program that the developers use that helps them make Xbox One games. It's sort of like the tools that Microsoft gives them to help them make their game for the Xbox One. And so they updated it, and apparently it improved the EsRam, its performance. It made it a little bit better, and that's according to a Dying Light developer who was interviewed by Gaming Bolt, and this is what he had to say. He said the new API allows you to do a lot more with the EsRam, things devs have always wanted to do but were not easily accessible. This, together with better tools, allowed us to really improve performance and tweak EsRam usage. So basically, before, I guess the developers didn't have a lot of control over the EsRam, so they probably couldn't find creative ways to manage it and make the games better. But apparently now they're since they have more control over it, obviously it increased performance because they can probably find better usage for it. And that's great news because, as we all know, the PlayStation 4 has been able to hit 1080p on a lot of their Xbox. I was going to say a lot of their Xbox One games. That makes no sense at all. But yeah, like I was saying, the PS4 is able to hit 1080p on a lot of their games that the Xbox One is only able to hit like 900p, and that's a shame because they're almost identical in specs. The only difference, like the Xbox One's CPU is higher clocked, so their CPU is better, but the PS4's RAM is better because, as we all know, the PS4 has GDDR5 RAM, which is a lot faster. And you can think of it as like a pipe. It's a fatter pipe which lets more information through at once than the Xbox One's DDR3, which you can think of it as having a smaller pipe that lets less information through. And obviously, the bigger the pipe, like the PS4 has with their GDDR5 RAM, they're able to, send more information per second than the Xbox One is, and that's a big deal in terms of graphics performance that the Xbox One has, as we've seen, has underperformed compared to the PlayStation 4. And hopefully this EsRam's performance boost, it's not really like the EsRam's 32 megabytes in cache, and basically, if you guys don't know what EsRam also is, it's basically embedded static RAM, and it's a different type of RAM that allows importing data to travel much faster than regular RAM. And that's sort of what Microsoft was thinking, I suppose, because I'm going to get all technical here with you guys, so bear with me a little bit because, I'm a geek about this stuff. But think of it like, as I said, the PS4 has GDDR5, and like I was saying, it has sort of like a bigger pipe that lets more information through. And what Microsoft wanted to do is try to save money on making, having every console have GDDR5 and instead have EsRam, which is much cheaper. And they were going to use that to send faster information because the EsRam is faster than regular RAM. And they were thinking that the developers could send the important stuff much faster through the EsRam and have less information go through the DDR3 RAM because the pipe's smaller, and still be able to hit 1080p like the PS4. But that's not the case apparently, because I guess developers didn't have the ability to really manage the EsRam the way they wanted to, and maybe that's why the Xbox One's not been able to hit 1080p. So maybe this EsRam's performance usage, like now developers seem to have more accessibility, because in the interview that the Dying Light developer had, he mentioned that they have more control over and accessibility over the EsRam, and so I'm assuming they're going to be able to manage it much better, and being able to use those 32 megabytes to have faster information go through there. That's more vital. That it's on the screen faster is great news, because now the regular DDR3 RAM, which is 8 gigs of it that the Xbox One has, as well as the PS4, but it's GDDR5, now is going to be able to have more space in the theoretical pipe that I keep mentioning, to have that information go to have more information go through that wasn't able to go through before, and possibly hit that 1080p mark that the Xbox One has been struggling to hit in a lot of games. I'm not saying the Xbox One's unable to hit 1080p. There's plenty of games that's been able to hit 1080p, but now hopefully with the EsRam being able to be more managed by developers, they'll find ways to make the Xbox One hit 1080p, because although the PlayStation 4 does have better specs on paper, the Xbox One is, I think, almost the same, especially because the PlayStation 4 only has 8 gigabytes of GDDR5, which is really great RAM, but the Xbox One has also the EsRam, which is, think of it as more different type of RAM. You know, it has more different hardware to help it out. So I think it sort of compensates it, and really they're about equal in terms of specs at the very end if you really think about it. And it's just really the Xbox One's SDK update is really just trying to help the developers manage and really use the full potential of the hardware on the Xbox One. And I think this is really what this update is. This really was an update to the EsRam, because as according to the developer here, it really helped them out. It gave them like better tools to manage the EsRam and have it do what they wanted to do, apparently, which is great news. And I can't wait to see what games are able to hit 1080p now, and hopefully every game now is equal resolution on both consoles, because I hate having this console argument about one console being better than the other, because it's really all about gaming. We're all gamers here, and we all just want to have great games and being able to have fun on them, and having these like arguments about which has better resolutions is kind of, I think, dumb. Just enjoy the game, but this is still great news. I mean, also I do want to mention the Dying Light developer did say that the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are both planned to run at 1080p 30 frames per second. Obviously hasn't been confirmed that that's what it's going to run at, but the Dying Light developer said at least 1080p 30 frames per second on both Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So that's great news to hear. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Back in June, there was the June SDK update, which helped improve the GPU, which is basically the graphics card on the Xbox One, and it improved it by basically making it so the Kinect wasn't using up, I think it was like 8% of the GPU, and using that 8% instead on games, and allowing developers to do that, allowing developers to turn off Kinect and have that 8% instead be towards gaming or games in general. And that's great news, because now it looks like they've improved the EsRam, the GPU, and also on the Xbox One, before it was even going to be released, they also clocked the CPU much higher. So I mean, they've almost increased all their hardware. One, obviously the CPU, they increased the clock speed before the Xbox One came out. Then after the Xbox One came out in June, they had an SDK that helped out the GPU, and now, as we see in December, they updated it to make the EsRam's performance a little bit better, by allowing developers to have more access, and, you know, trying to do different techniques to make it be better. And that's great to hear. Hopefully every game now is equal on both consoles, so we can have this argument on which console is better, and I mean, to not have this argument on which console is better. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, like I said, leave me your thoughts on what do you think about this. Do you think it's really going to change, make a big difference? If not, let me know why you think so. And that's all I have for you guys. Leave it a like if you found this video informative. Hopefully I explained all the technical stuff, and because I explained it as best as I could, but obviously maybe I didn't do such a good job. I know this is some stuff some people might not understand, and I try to explain it to the best of my ability. Hopefully that tube analogy, that pipe analogy, kind of helped you out in understanding what I'm trying to say about all this hardware stuff. But anyways, leave me your comments, and make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one.